Right.
Hello and welcome. I'm Ellen McNulty, the president of Wise Women Travel and Travel Friends on Meetup. Hello, I'm Ellen McNulty, the president of Wise Women Travel with Ellen. We're also on Meetup as Travel Friends. About me, I've been in the travel industry for more than 40 years and I've traveled to more than 99 countries. I've been on 8 cruise lines and more. I wear several hats. I'm president of Line Out Tours. That is a tour operator to Ireland and Great Britain. I am the head of Wise Women Travel and Travel Friends Meetup. Wise Women Travel and Travel Friends Meetup are organizations that put together trips for those who are 40 plus who are tired of waiting for their friends to travel with them. We put together small groups of like-minded people. Generally, they're women, but we also do sometimes have couples or men. And we put together itineraries that are interesting, comfortable, and perfect for people in our age range. Here are just some of the places that we've gone and some of the people that we've traveled with. You might recognize some of the people in the pictures here. In fact, some of you might be in them. You can find us on the web at wisewomentravel.com. That's where you'll find most of our information. If you just want a brief summary and you're a member of Meetup, you can go to our Meetup site, Travel Friends Near and Far 40 Plus, and you find a synopsis of what we're doing on all of our programs. If you want to reach me directly, my cell phone number is 516-248-3496. You can also reach me by email, wisewomentravelellen@gmail.com. So tonight we're talking about our 13-day Turkey Escorted tour, which takes place March 30th to April 15th, 2026. I just returned from Turkey earlier this week. I went on a cruise with a few friends around Turkey, Italy, Greece, and so on. But this escorted tour is just of Turkey and the western part of Turkey with a lot of the interested places that I missed going to Turkey this time. I only went to Istanbul and I've been to Kusadasi before in Izmir. But otherwise, I haven't seen some of the most beautiful sites in Turkey. Places like Cappadocia, Pamukkale, Ankara, and other places that you've seen wonderful pictures of. Remember that when you travel with Wise Women Travel, it does matter who you travel with. The people you travel with make a difference. Anybody can book an escorted tour. You can go to Turkey on your own. You can plan your own trip. I think it's nicer to travel with a group of like-minded people, a small group. When you're on a tour and maybe you go shopping on your free time and you lose track of time and you forget to come back to the coach on time, we'll always be looking out for you. You don't have to worry about getting lost or wandering or no one knowing where you are. We're always looking out for you. On days when we don't have included meals, we'll plan meals together. And if you want to accompany the rest of the group, you're certainly welcome to do so. Or some people choose not to have dinner or go off on their own. You also can do that. But I think there's safety in numbers, and especially in small numbers. So why travel with Wise Women Travel? Well, you can meet friends who share your interests. I know before I started this group, I would talk to my friends about going somewhere and I'd put together all the details of the trip. They're all interested until it came time to actually put down money or commit to the trip. Where, they'd have to take care of their grandchildren. Oh, they can't afford to go. There's always 1,000 excuses. So this way, you get to travel, you get to meet new friends, you travel in a congenial small group. Even if you're new to the group, you can make friends to travel with. One of the things I insist upon when we're traveling is that people are friendly to one another. There are no cliques being formed. As I mentioned before, everybody's looking out for you. We take couples, we take singles, you can bring a friend. You can have your own room if you want. I'm specialize in programs that have lower single supplements. I'm always looking for that because I myself like to have a single room. My husband doesn't like to travel as much as I do, and I know I have some bad habits, so I don't want to inflict those on anyone. So I like having my own room. It's the freedom of having your privacy at night, but having many people to talk with during the day, have dinner with, sightsee with. You can join us from anywhere. We usually include airfare from New York. That's because we're based in New York and Florida, but we have airfare from many cities. You just have to ask. You, of course, can arrange your own airfare if you like. This would be typical of the size of a group that would travel with us. And remember, we're always looking out for you. So with a nice small group, we all get to know one another, and you really don't have to worry about being on your own. This is our Turkey escorted tour. The picture here is one we took in Turkey this last time we were there at the spice market. The spice market in Istanbul has everything from Turkish teas to here we see a whole bunch of different color olives. There's jewelry. There's everything you can possibly think of in the Spice Bazaar. And of course, we also go to the Grand Bazaar as well. So where exactly are we going in Turkey? Well, we're starting out in Istanbul. Istanbul being the place that most flights from the US and Canada fly into in Turkey. We're going from there to Ankara, which is the capital of Turkey. Cappadocia, that's the area where you'll see both fairy chimneys and beautiful turquoise pools of water. We're going to Konya, we're going to Pamukkale, Ephesus, and Kusadasi. If you've been on a cruise that visited Turkey, maybe you've been here before with some of the ancient sites. It's one of the wonders of the ancient world. We're going to Pergamum, we're going to Çanakkale, to Troy, and Gallipoli. So all of those are places that I've wanted to see in Turkey, and I hope that you do too. So Turkey, including Cappadocia, takes place March 30th to April 11th of 2026. The price of this tour for land only, that means everything, meals, accommodations, coaching, sightseeing, is $27.99 land only when you're sharing a room. If you want airfare from New York, the current price is $36.19, including the land and the air. If you want a single room, the single room is $33.49 plus airfare. Picture on the right is Topkapi Palace, which is in Istanbul. The last trip I took, our cruise ship was docked directly across the street from this wonderful property. It takes hours to go through it. You see the Turkish crown jewels, and they also have wonderful gardens. So we're spending 11 nights in Turkey, all at four-star first-class accommodations or better. We're spending 3 nights in Istanbul, 1 night in Çanakkale, 2 nights in Kusadasi. We're going to Pamukkale for 1 night, Konya, Cappadocia for 2 nights, and the capital of Ankara for 1 night. So you're getting a good overall tour of Turkey. And what's included in the price? Well, just about everything. It includes hotel taxes, fees, and service charges, baggage handling. You even get transfers included when you purchase airfare with the package and on come and go on the dates that we've specified. There are 21 meals included, including 11 breakfasts, 1 lunch, and 9 dinners. We have sightseeing per the itinerary in modern air-conditioned motor coach with an English-speaking tour manager throughout. Entrance fees for those sites mentioned in the itinerary are all included. And when we're off the coach, we have comfortable wireless earphones so that you can listen to the tour guide who might be leading a walking tour around a city. Might be a little noisy, maybe a little crowded, but with the earphones, you can hear everything that he or she says. By the way, this program is being recorded. And at the end of the program, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions. So right now, if you're watching this live, all you do is go to the chat box, type in your question. You can send it either directly to me, the presenter, or you can share it with everyone. And when I'm done with the presentation, which should take no more than 45 minutes, we'll go over any of your questions. Here we are again in Istanbul at the Grand Bazaar. You could spend hours and days in the Grand Bazaar. You can get lost in all the alleyways and beautiful shops that are all over the market. Everything from designer scarves to rugs. You can see the Turkish lamps there, lots of jewelry, handbags, wonderful things, lots of souvenirs to take home. We're doing a tour of Istanbul, of course, and we're going to see some extraordinary sights, including the Blue Mosque, St. Sophia, and the Topkapi Palace. We're going to the Caravanserai of Sultan Han. This was a fortified inn for merchants and travelers along the Silk Road. One of the things I've always wanted to do is travel the complete Silk Road. I hope someday I get to do the whole thing, but on this tour, we're doing the Turkish part of the Silk Road. We're visiting the 4,000-year-old city of Troy. Of course, that's the subject of Homer's Iliad, and we all know the famous story of the Trojan horse. Pergamon with excavated ruins. Hierapolis, a UNESCO World Heritage Site famed for its sacred hot springs. We're visiting Cappadocia with the fairy chimneys. And it also has some underground city that we're going to tour. We're going to have tea in a cave home in Cappadocia. That should be the highlight of one of the days that we're in Cappadocia. Meet some of the locals. By the way, there are a few things that are not included in the package price. There are a couple of optional sightseeing tours, like this, the Whirling Dervishes, which cost $68 additional. This is something I have always wanted to see, where these are men dressed in these white costumes and they spin and they spin and they spin. And it's just an interesting dance routine. You should purchase your optional tours before you go, because they can cost you an extra 10% or more when you're actually traveling. You know, if you decide on the spot, oh, I have nothing to do this afternoon, I want to go on this tour. It may not cost you $68. We're visiting Ephesus. That's one of the wonders of the ancient world, with some of the most intact ruins that you will see in anywhere in Italy, in Greece, or in Turkey. They're at Ephesus. Pamukkale. That's another thing that I have always wanted to see, the turquoise salt waters of Pamukkale in the cotton candy castles, as they're called. You can bathe in some of these pools if you like, or you can just observe them from a distance. All of this is included on our 13-day tour of Turkey. We're visiting the Mausoleum of Mevlana. It has a turquoise dome, as you can see here, and that's in the town of Konya. We're visiting Ankara, the capital of Turkey. For some reason, I always thought Istanbul was the capital, but it's Ankara. We're visiting another mausoleum, the mausoleum of Kemal Ataturk, who was the founder of the Republic of Turkey. So this is a great monument to the founding leader of Turkey. Kanakali, which is a beachside resort. How you book this tour is you call me 516-248-3496. I'll be available right after this presentation, or you can email me at wisewomentravelellen@gmail.com. A few notes you should know about the program when it takes place. Ramadan does take place. It is a Muslim country, so there are some observances that you should respect while you're there. They shouldn't interfere with our enjoyment of the tour itself or some of the sites, but it's always interesting to see local customs as well. The temperature, remember, we're leaving at the very end of March, and most of our tour is in April. It's a great time of year to explore the main sites without the summer crowds. The average low is 38 at night, and it goes up to 50 to 71 during the day. You might have some rain as well. You want to bring comfortable walking shoes, a sweater, clothes you can layer, and an all-weather coat. Remember to be on the bus when we're outside the cities from 5 to 8 hours a day with breaks, restroom stops, and sightseeing. You should be able to walk over uneven ground. You shouldn't be doing a lot of altitude, but you have to be handy enough on your feet to walk when we go to some of the, particularly the older sites. Airfare. Now, you don't have to purchase airfare with the trip, but the benefit of buying the airfare is that you will get round-trip airport transfers in the destination. So when you arrive, you'll be transferred from Istanbul Airport to our first night hotel, and at the end, you'll have transfers again. You can book your own air, or we can book other air for you, and then we arrange private transfers. So it's not a problem at all. This trip, Turkey, including Cappadocia, takes place March 30th to April 11th, 2026. Again, the price is $27.99 land only, and the airfare included is $36.19. Excuse me. The single room, $33.49. That's a room to yourself. It'd be the same size as a twin room, but only for one person. $33.49 plus airfare. The prices are correct as of right now. If you're thinking about going and you're going to wait a few days to make your decision, you run the risk of either the program being sold out or the prices may change. I just want to make you aware of that. Picture on the right is again at the Spice Bazaar with some Turkish specialties there. How you book, 516-248-3496, or email wisewomentravelellen@gmail.com. We always suggest that you purchase travel insurance on any trip. Sometimes you have a credit card that tells you it gives you travel insurance, but you want to make sure what all the provisions of that travel insurance are, particularly as we get older. If you're on Medicare, remember, medical insurance does not cover you outside the United States. So you purchase travel insurance not only to cover medical, but things like baggage loss, your flights being delayed, um, returning to the US. Let's say if you get sick while you're traveling and you're so sick that you don't feel comfortable being treated in a foreign country, Travel Guard will fly you back home. Sometimes that even involves, having a nurse travel with you, might need a hospital bed on board. All of that is extremely expensive. So I would always suggest that you take out the insurance we offer, which is Travel Guard insurance. It's a good investment. I know you're spending quite a bit of money on a trip, but paying that little bit extra for Travel Guard insurance is going to give you the peace of mind that you don't have to worry about any additional expenses while you're traveling. Some of the policies, depending upon what state you live in, cover things like returning home early if your pet is sick. And things like that. So it's always a good idea to buy it. You also should buy it at the time you give me your deposit for the tour because that covers you for pre-existing conditions. Remember, you need a passport to travel to Turkey, and it has to be valid for at least 6 months past the return date of your trip. So this trip is taking place in March and April. So 6 months after April is October. So you want to make sure that your passport is valid through the end of October. So, are you ready to plan your next adventure? I'm ready to talk to you at any time. I'll be available after this presentation. If you can't wait to book, you can call me at 516-248-3496. My name is Ellen. You can reach me at wisewomentravelellen@gmail.com. We need a deposit to confirm you on the tour. Again, you should take out travel insurance at the same time you give us a deposit. For more information, or if you want to see all the facts and figures in writing, let's go to our website, wisewomentravel.com. We also produce a monthly newsletter. If you would like to subscribe to it, I do need your email address. It goes out by email at least once a month. And just send your email address to me. Again, my email address is wisewomentravelellen@gmail.com. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. If you have any questions, I'm going to check the chat box and answer them now. You can also refer to our meetup site, Travel Friends Near and Far, and of course, our wisewomentravel.com website. So thank you for joining me tonight. I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon.